Discover College Soccer podcast is sponsored by VIO. VIO is the #1 AI camera solution helping players capture college recruitment videos. Check out their new starter and family options by clicking on the link in the description or visit Discover College Soccer to learn more. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Enzo from North Central College up in Illinois. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I think I've been in Naperville once in my life, I think for a wedding, but but a
Nice
nice,
place to be. Yeah.
it's a nice place. Your temperatures are definitely better than mine are down here in Florida here at the end of July, but it's neither here nor there. So you're just a couple weeks away from preseason, I'm guessing, and you guys had an amazing run last year. So what kind of what was your year like in terms of recruiting? What's kind of your normal calendar? Let's say we're looking at the class of 24 now, I'm guessing. Kind of what does your normal recruiting situation look like?
Yeah, we've been done with the 23s for a while now, and it's a pretty large recruiting class. We're trying to build up our roster since we carry two teams basically. First team and a reserve squad. So now we're looking, and we have been looking mainly at 24s, but the 24 recruiting class is going to be much smaller. We're losing very few players. So yeah, this past season has been great, but I would say the past two seasons. So right after COVID, 21 and 22 have been two pretty good seasons. We lost basically only once in regular season games and twice in the NCAA tournament. Made some strides. 2019 was my first season here, and trying to get my feet wet and bring kind of hard to bring my own recruits since I was hardly in March. We had a pretty good run, but then we had COVID, which kind of stopped a little bit what we were doing, but the recruiting didn't stop, and it kind of gave us a chance to do a few other things. The NCAA allowed us to train much more than we normally do. So we just trained and played some scrimmages, but it really helped cement the group, and I think the results showed. So yeah, we're getting ready for our new season here, 23, and we've got 2 weeks away. Kids are coming in on the 16th of August. 18th is going to be our first day on the field, and we're very excited. We had a very good spring season, worked on a bunch of things, and we also had a chance to travel overseas in March. We went to Italy, and and it was great. It's a great chance to give the kids a great cultural experience, but also a way to you know to bond even more as a team. And so yeah, now I know the kids. They're all working hard in the off season. They're all excited about the new season. Yeah, we lost only that one game, but it was enough to leave a sour taste in our mouth. So kids are eager to get back on the field and hopefully build on the success we've had
No, that's great.
recently.
Well, I was going to guess if you went overseas that it was Italy. That was just a wild guess on my part. You know,
Although I like to explore other parts of the world as well, so
I'm
maybe our
sure.
next one is going to be somewhere else. Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, one thing that's maybe slightly different about your roster is you do have some international players, which isn't as common at the Division III level. Um, so what is your recruiting like on the international stage, as well as do you look at the transfer portal at all? Does that come into play for you in any way?
So I like a diverse roster. Uh, just different states, different cultures, and I think the internationals bring a lot to the plate as well. And it's becoming more common now in D3 to see international players. It's happening more and more. So in our conference, there are, I would say, two or three teams that also recruit internationally pretty heavily. So basically, I established a relationship with a couple of agencies. And if you looked at my roster, you notice there are 4 Italians. So I felt like there was a good connection to make because I'm familiar with the leagues, having played there. So if they tell me where they played, I understand, if they're good enough to play here or not. While other countries, I'm not very familiar with the leagues, so I'm not quite sure, if they can play at this level or not. And the Italians we had last year, they did pretty well. Out of the four, one was injured the whole season, but the other three were all conference, and two of them were all region. So we're continuing on that path. So when I recruit, I went to Italy, spent some time there, looking at some of the showcases over there, but we also attend any other events in the country or even here locally. I mean, the Chicagoland, it's a hotbed for soccer, so there is a ton of clubs and high schools, so you don't have to travel that far to recruit. But we attend some of the major events. I was in Dallas for the MLS Next event, and my assistant was in North Carolina for the CNL regional event. So we like to expand, and we got some kids next. We got some internationals. We also have kids from California, kids from Texas, kids from Michigan, from Iowa, from all over. So the makeup of the roster, it's quite diverse. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you guys do your own ID camps, or do you or your staff work other ID camps? How do they fit in?
Yeah, we do both. We attend a number of local D1 ID events and work those events, and we also do two ID events here in North Central College. One is going to be this coming Saturday, as a matter of fact, and the other one is in the winter. We do one indoor. And we, on purpose, we charge very little, and we also keep it very small. I mean, it's not a moneymaker. I know that there's a ton of ID camps out there, and families could spend a fortune attending all of them. We want to make sure we give the kids a chance to show, their skills. We want to spend some time with them, which I think is very important in the recruiting process. I mean, yeah, the first thing we look at, it's how good the kid is, but then we want to see, is the kid coachable? Does he have a good attitude? Is a hard worker? And on the other hand, I always tell the recruits, I also want to give them a chance to see us in action. So it's a chance for the recruits to come in and spend 3-4 hours with the staff and meet some of the players who work in the camp. So it goes both ways, and we rely on that a lot.
Okay. What do you attend high school games? Do you have, are you talking with high school coaches, club coaches? How does the relationship with coaches, obviously internationally you have
Yeah,
those, but
yeah.
locally, how does that come into play with your recruiting?
It is very important to establish a relationship. High school games we attend as much as we can. It is kind of hard because it's during our season. But again, as I said before, this area is a hotbed for soccer. So there is a lot of good high school games going on all the time. So one of our staff is always able to attend. Also the high schools have a lot of tournaments or camps that they're doing nowadays over the summer, where they invite college coaches, and we attend those as well. So we have a network going with high school coaches, club coaches. Yes, it's very important. And again, the relationship with the coaches is also important to know more about the kids. I said before, yeah, we want to make sure the kid can play, is good enough, but we also want to make sure, is this a good kid? Is he going to fit our system? Is he going to fit our culture? And talking to coaches and having a relationship with them really helps getting the story of the kids. And then of course having them on campus and work with them, that really helps a lot as well.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. Um, there's you've been there 4 years now,
Only
and
my fifth year, yeah.
yeah, so you've got a good handle on it. So what are some of the things you find are amazing about the schools, things that set it apart, maybe some things we wouldn't know even just by going through the website?
Yeah, well, there are three things that are very important here. First, it's a good academic school. Academics are good and pretty high, ranked pretty high in the Midwest and beyond. And then the location, it's one of the prime things. Because I mean, we're a small school. We're, I think, about 2,800 students. So you get all the benefits of a small school. Small class size, professors only. But we're downtown Naperville, which Naperville every year gets voted as one of the best places to live in the U.S. And so the kids, go to class, get all the benefits of the small school, but then they step outside and they're downtown, a nice area. So they really, and gives them a feel of being, not in the middle of nowhere, but in a bigger area. And then the tradition, the athletic tradition that the school has. I mean, the school has 43 national championships, throughout the years. So it really adds, and I mean, those national championships put the North Central name on the map all over the country. I mean, if you look at the national championships, it's mostly cross country, track and field, but lately, our football team has won 2 out of 3 in the last 3 years. And our conference, CCIW, it's a pretty tough conference, and our teams in every sport kind of are on the top part of the conference. So I would say these 3 elements: academic, the athletic, and the location, are what makes North Central special. Also being 30 minutes from Chicago, 30 minutes from O'Hare, very easy to get here and get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned the academic component, obviously a very good school academically and good sports, as you mentioned too. So how do your student athletes really balance the demands of both a high level on the field and high level in the classroom? And what support systems does a school offer to help them with that too?
Yeah, a lot. I'd say the main thing is, out of the close to 3,000 students, 1/3 are athletes. So our faculty is used to have athletes in their classroom. That doesn't mean they cut them a break. Actually, they make it a little tougher on them. But there's a lot of cooperation between faculty and coaches. We work together. So there is a lot of help that the kids get. We have a ton of systems going on in the athletics department. We have a mentorship system. Every program is got mentors. We have a faculty mentor who also meets with the players regularly to go over the demands and how can you succeed as a student athlete. It's not easy. It's tough, especially for fall sports. You get freshmen who come in, they have not much time to get adjusted to to the new life basically, and they're thrown right away into the pit. And I mean, for us especially, kids come in on the 16th and we start classes a week later. So there's not much time. Some of the schools start a little later, so kids have a little more time. So we start right away. So we have lots of faculty mentors who talk to the kids about how to manage your time. How to find time to do everything you need to do as a student athlete. Homework, rest, get your lunches, get your dinners, get your academic help, get your mental help. We stress a lot the mental part of the game. I mean, it's easy to get here and just be overwhelmed by the whole thing. So we help a lot. We spend a lot of time also as a team to deal with these issues and talk to the kids about all these things.
Okay.
We also make sure the kids understand, that make sure all your classes are done as early as possible in the day, so it leaves you time for the rest of the day to do the other things.
Well, that's going to be my next question is if, let's pretend it's October and you're in the heart of the season here, kind of walk me through what a typical week might look like for your players in terms of when are classes, practices, meals, what's the game cadence look like, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so basically kids start a class as early as possible, 8 a.m. in the day. So, get up early, get your breakfast, go to class. Nutrition is very important as well. We make sure the kids understand that, they get their meals in, they get their rest in. It's a pretty stressful season, on the body and on the mind. So done with classes as early as possible in the afternoon, get some rest if you can, get homework done if you can. And then we train normally like from 6 to 9 p.m. That's our training time. It's a 3-hour block because I said before we have 2 teams. Basically, we have a first team and a reserves team. So we do 90-minute blocks and we alternate those. One week we have one team go 6, 7:30. The following week we have the team do that. So basically our games in October, I would say in October, it is in the thick of things, but things get a little more normalized because we finally just played conference schedule. So games are only Wednesdays and Saturdays. So By NCAA rules, we have to give the kids a day off. That usually happens in October on Sunday regularly. So the Monday is the day that we go hard to prepare for a Wednesday game. The Tuesday session, the day before a game, it's more like a tactical session where we, prepare some of the tactics for the game. That's a film day as well. Either Monday or Tuesday. Then the Thursday, it's a recovery day. After the game, we might push some of the guys who did not play or played less a little harder. And then you're back into Friday where you're preparing for the Saturday's game. So a light session with some film and tactics just to go over. And then Sunday we rest. I would say the most stressful part for our players, it's September, because that's when we try to get all the non-conference games in and try to fit them in as much as we can. So there are weeks where we play 3 games, and that's pretty rough. So that kind of helps having a good, healthy, 24, 25 first team roster, and do some turnover, I believe at this point we have a pretty balanced and even roster where we have positions. We got more than one player per position, so the level does not drop, and we can switch players. Injuries happen. Stuff happens. So in last 2 years, that helped a lot. Last year, for example, we had our top forward coming in, and he got hurt right away. He broke his collarbone, so we had to put a freshman. There was also a top recruit, and he had the same how freak is that, same kind of injury. He broke his collarbone as well. So we had to put a third player in, and he was good and strong enough to do the job. And so depth in a roster really helps. One thing I forgot to mention before, you asked me about the transfer portal. I don't spend a ton of time looking at those look at the portal. Occasionally I go up and I go in and take a look at it, and I might reach out to a couple of kids here and there, mostly from local schools. But yeah, I don't spend too much on it. But we have every year a number of transfers that because of the success that we're having, they wanna come in and explore our school.
No, that makes perfect sense. Well, let's continue on with kind of the season and then the soccer side of things. I mean, obviously you mentioned having the reserve team too. And so what is your total roster size that you're trying to hit each year?
Yeah, we're looking at like around 45 kids,
Okay.
including 4 goalkeepers. So that will give you a 24-25 group, 2
Yeah.
groups, so 24,
Yeah.
25. So, and the roster, the reserves roster team, they play 13, 14 games. So it's a lot of games they get to play. And that's also a very competitive group. So basically, that's meant for all the freshmen. All the freshmen come in, they're good players, but they're not maybe physically ready. They're not quite up to par with the speed of play at the college level. And in college, 18-year-old playing against maybe a 25, 26, 27-year-old from a school, it makes a big difference. So they might need a little time to develop, and that's why we give them all these games so they go and compete with other schools. So yeah, I would say about 45 kids. That's the size of the roster that we try to keep every year.
So then what is the size of your staff to manage both teams?
Yes. No, I am really happy. I was at a different institution for years where I never had the luxury of an assistant coach. I had to recruit some players that just graduated and volunteer their time or give them enough to buy a Big Mac or something. But but now, no, I'm really happy because we have a full-time assistant. And we just hired a new full-time assistant coming in next week, and then I have a GA. So it's not basically not a full-time position. And the GA, I usually try to recruit a GA who's a goalkeeper coach, so that he can spend quality time with the goalkeepers. We have 4 goalkeepers, maybe 5. They need attention. From my past experiences, goalkeepers always can kind of get kind of neglected, pushed aside. So I want to make sure that we have that. So we got everything covered. It's the three of us working together. But we also have a fourth who's a volunteer coach, and he's mostly working with data and analytics, and so he's a numbers guy, does all that stuff. So it's four of us basically, but three full time and one is a volunteer. And yeah, it's been working pretty well. I mean, we had another assistant who had to resign recently for family reasons, but I'm excited about the new one coming in, and we work as a unit. So even the goalkeeper coach, the GA, he basically takes charge of the reserves team. The assistant works mainly with me and the reserves team. So I feel like we're a good team. Running good sessions and discussing, what's working, what's not working. And I make sure I tell my assistants that they know that I'm not looking for a yes man. I want to them to question and discuss and try to find the best solution for any of the issues that would arise with our team. And I'm pretty sure with the new assistant, things are going to just be as smooth because I've known him for years. So
Good.
fine.
Good. Well, one of the things you just mentioned was data and analytics. So, what is it that you guys do with data and analytics? Are you filming games and practices? Are you using any of the GPS technology or any of
Yeah,
those kinds of
not
thing? What do you guys
I'm
use?
not big on the GPS thing. I mean, I'm old style. I can tell who's running, who's not. Uh, but numbers. So basically, we just invested, in a new Huddle camera, and there's also a new feature with Huddle. It's called Y Scout, that breaks everything down, and so we film everything from games, home and away, to practices. I've it's video doesn't lie. I find it very helpful for kids, even at practice. When you tell the kids he's doing something wrong, he might question, but if you show him the film, there's no way out. And we don't use it as a way to, kind of a finger point, but hey, you did this wrong, let's fix it. And it really helps. And then the numbers and the data and the analytics, it just helps a little bit with the percentage, and where are we losing the ball the most, where are we winning the ball the most, where are we more effective, what I think it really helps a lot because we present the kids these numbers, and it gives them something to think about. So yeah, so I'm really excited about this new camera that we got with Huddle, and use it as much as we can. And last year really helped. We didn't do as many practices as we wanted to. I wish we did, but this year we'll do as much as we can.
Okay, awesome. Well, more about you specifically, I guess how, you guys have had some great success these last few years. So, how would you describe your style of coaching and the team style of play?
Yeah, I would say you should have somebody else. I should ask somebody else this question, but I would say, I'm a very demanding coach. Once we step on the field, I expect the kids to give me, 100% or more every single time. I push them as much as I can. I personally feel that if a session there's no mistakes made, I'm not pushing the guys hard enough. So I want to make sure that I push them to the limit, but the always in a positive way. I mean, the kids are not gonna hear me, screaming and yelling the whole time if they make mistakes and everything. No, I want to make sure they succeed through mistakes and through challenges. So I would say that's my style. I'm very passionate about the game. I would say I'm a maniac, but I still watch a ton of soccer, and not just college soccer, but anything. And our style of play reflects my passion. It reflects also our trainings. Our trainings are also very detailed, and we like to play. I like to enjoy the product that we put out there. So we in general, we like to build out of the back, we like to possess, but I also like my players to be very eclectic and change according to how the game is going, or who we're playing, based on the scouting we've done. So we might play a bit more direct sometimes when the game requires us to do so. So we have a game model. We have some basics that we like to go about. My kids always hear me Maybe being Italian, defense is one of the things in my mind. But I'd rather win a game 1-0, 2-0 than 4-3, 5-4. The one thing we take pride on is not giving up goals. All right, so they always hear me, get behind the ball. So we lose the ball. Everybody knows that we work as a unit defensively, and they also know that we get the ball. The first thing we do, we look forward. And that doesn't mean we just dump it forward every time, but that's one of the concepts that we try to instill the guys. Try to, you win the ball before you get the ball. Speed of play, speed of thought. Your first option is forward, and if it's not there, we go to option 2 or 3. But defense, I would say in 2021 we had a number of records that we beat defensively. Our defensive unit was one of the best in the nation for goals against. And but again, it's not just the defense, the back four or back five with the keeper. It's we defend as a unit, and we scored quite a good number of goals as well. So we're not just a defensive team, but we like to go forward as well.
No, that's great. Love it. Well, Coach, we've covered a lot of ground, talked about a lot of different things, but my ending question is always, if you had one piece of advice, one nugget of information you'd love to give all parents, players, families going through the college recruiting process, what would that be?
Yeah, I've heard this on some of the podcasts you've done, but to me, one of the most important things, and I coach club as well. It's make sure that when a kid is looking for a college, don't just look at the school, and you gotta find the right fit, but you gotta find the right fit by spending time on campus. So don't just go once, go more than once, go watch games, look at how the team behaves on the field, how the coaching staff behaves on the sidelines, meet the players. If you can spend a night, an overnight, that's awesome. So you can see what the kids do when they're not playing soccer. You're gonna have to spend the next 4 years of your life at this new place. So you want to make sure that all the boxes are checked, and it fits what you're looking for in a school. Okay, so what the kids do when they're not playing college, when they're not playing soccer, it's very important. And what kind of behavior the kids have on the field, and the coach yells all the time on sidelines. Kids are out of control on the field. You want to make sure that you check everything, and of course the other thing that I always tell the kids, academics, right? Our private schools can be pretty pricey, but there is a ton of help that they can get, and one of them is academics. You have a good GPA, our tuition gets cut in half, so they really have. So don't neglect your academics. Make sure that you take good classes, AP classes, and you just get your GPA as high as you can.
Great advice, Coach. Absolutely. Well, wish you the best of luck here in the fall. Hopefully, you can just keep on progressing in that NCAA tournament, and we'll definitely keep an eye on you this fall. And if you're down in Bradenton doing any recruiting, give me a shout, and we'll get together. All right, Coach?
Definitely do. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Take care. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there.